Whether you have a diagnosis or not, I don't care. Jump inside this podcast and I'm going to teach you how to read your own blood work so you can find the answers to your health concerns. Yes, those normal labs that your doctor keeps saying, oh, they look great, we'll see you again in 6 months. They really have answers in them if you know how to read it correctly. So come join me along this journey, leave a review, and share with your friends. Let's dive in. What health coaching certification program do I recommend? I get this question asked all the time. Well, I've finally vetted them out, and the one program that outshines all others is Functional Diagnostic Nutrition, or FDN. There are 3 reasons why. 1, it's very clinically based and teaches labs. I myself turned down a master's degree in functional medicine because it didn't teach labs. 2, you have lifetime access and it always gets updated. This is important because things change and you need to be in the know. 3, when you complete the training on your timeline, they have an incredible post-grad community. So they don't just kick you out on the streets and say, good luck. If you've been thinking about receiving your health coaching certification or are a practitioner looking to branch out and scale a virtual practice, now is the time. Make 2023 your year. Do this for you, your family, and those you're about to help. Go to fdntraining.com/Dr. Kylie. Check the show notes for a $250 off code available for a limited time. I am happy to announce that I have partnered with Functional Diagnostic Nutrition because I love their program so much. They are now the podcast sponsor. All right, let's get into the podcast episode. Here we go. Welcome to the Beyond the Diagnosis podcast with me, your host, Dr. Kylie. Let's talk about skin today. We're going to come at from skin and correlate it to organs in your body, specific regions around your body. So your skin around your body correlated to organs inside your body, because Abigail is the master at that and she's going to bring us in. So Abigail, welcome on.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Also, by the way, she is a nutrition response testing practitioner out of northern Colorado. So if you're in the northern Colorado area, check her out. And if you're not in northern Colorado, or even if you are, you can join her Facebook group at the Holistic Collective on the Facebook. Okay, Abigail, teach me skin.
So a lot of us already know, skin is very, very important. It's the outward appearance of what we look like. And it's very important, especially as women, we're always concerned about fine lines, wrinkles, under eye bags. But do we actually realize that all of those can be connected to organs and also our emotions? So our skin's the primary barrier, but when we start noticing issues going on our skin, how deep are those issues and how deep are they rooted? So that's why I'm going to dive into a little bit more and explain a little bit more about different areas of your face, so that way you can learn a little bit more about how it's connected to those different organs. Mm-hmm. And then some of them are emotional connections as well, based on traditional Chinese medicine. They have a whole entire face reading that they do, which is way more in depth than what I do. I am definitely not a face reader in the Chinese sense, because they go into personalities and everything else associated with that in traditional Chinese medicine. But I look at it from a holistic health standpoint of, you have the outer thinning of your eyebrow. That can mean a thyroid dysfunction. So until you can heal your thyroid, then is that really going to fix itself? Mm-hmm. So we can look into things like that.
I've heard of one where, what is that, where that comes all the way across the eyebrow?
The unibrow?
Yeah, is that a liver thing?
I think it is liver, but it's actually having really thick, bushy eyebrows is a sign of good health. Oh. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
But
that's not what we aesthetically look at either.
No, but in TCM, they say that when you're actually very vibrant, you actually have very thick eyebrows. I would have never thought of that before I learned about it. I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. But
yeah, keep going. Teach me more.
All right. So the first area that we're going to talk about is just basically the overall color of our skin. And then you can break down the colors into the individual organs. So if the area has like a blue, a gray, a purplish blue, like a purplish blue color, that means stagnation. Things aren't moving. They're just kind of stuck. Green is toxicity. Normally you see that with yellow, and yellow's more like the jaundice color. So when you have little tiny babies, you'll always notice like you need to do the jaundice checks, or they always want to do the jaundice checks to make sure that their liver's functioning. So that most of the time means something staying in the body too long. In the case of jaundice, it's the bilirubin that's just not getting excreted from the body. And then red is a sign of inflammation. And white is frozen, lack of energy, lack of movement. So that can be like, if it's your whole entire face, that can be a sign that you're anemic. If you tend to go on more of the pale side of things, or you have an issue with your red blood cells. So like an iron deficiency, which would be very similar to like the anemic. Mm-hmm. Or also folic acid, they say, as well. I see it more with iron though. And then brown spots that you have that you get on your skin, some people call them liver spots, which is the perfect name, because that most of the time means you have a liver problem or vitamin C or E. And then on the very top of your arms, right through here, you'll notice like it almost looks like goosebumps, and they're like little white patches. That's a sign of a vitamin A deficiency. So the first area I'll talk about in correlation with those is going to be like your eye area. Now, not your actual eyes, but the area around your eyes. And that is focused on primarily your kidneys. So if you have a big depression right through here, that means you're dehydrated and you need to drink more water. But if that area is hollow and dark, that can mean either extreme dehydration or allergies. And allergies can also be a sign of parasitic activity. A lot of times I see parasites show up when we have allergies. So we can't clear sometimes the allergies until we clear out the parasites. An emotional cause of having like the under eye bags and the darkening through here is, they call it tears that haven't been released. So if you've had a trauma, if you've been repressing your emotions about something that happened, or you lost somebody loved that's really close to you and you haven't processed through it, they notice that in the under eye bags. If your whole eye socket is darkened, so from the very top all the way around, that's more of a chronic kidney disease, or you'll see it with people who are doing dialysis. The best thing to do is to support the kidneys, but also increase fluid, increase hydrations, because the kidneys are a filtration system. So we have to keep them hydrated. We have to help filter out all of the chemicals, all of the toxins that we put onto our bodies and that we eat on a daily basis, because there's no way we can get away from everything that we shouldn't be having in our body. We just have to give our body the right support so that way it can handle everything.
Right.
If you have the actual, like more of like the bags, like the puffiness that gets white, not the dark ones, but the white puffy, that's that white color that we were talking about with the kidneys being stuck or frozen. So drinking distilled water will help remove the excess minerals and the excess stagnation. The emotional cause of that would be like a hidden panic. It's the idea of there's something you should be taking action on that you're worried about, but you just physically cannot take that next step towards it. Mm-hmm. So if you let that linger long enough, it'll show up in your face.
Nice.
And then if you look at the actual like water line right through here, your water line where we apply the makeup and it sits, that's going to be your adrenals. Not necessarily your kidneys. That's your adrenals.
So if you're looking at the, like where you put the bottom eyeliner, what are you looking for if there's adrenal signs?
So if it's red, then that would be like your adrenals are inflamed. They're in hypermobility. So like adrenal fatigue is what a lot of people commonly call it. So if it's super red, it could also be just a sign that you've overworked your adrenals. Have you ever woken up one day from studying for an extended period of time and your eyes are super red and irritated and inflamed? And if you look at the bottom side of it right through there, you're going to notice that's pretty red because your adrenals are just stressed out and they're like, I was up for 24 hours doing all of this stuff and I did not have a break.
I never did that. And I took a lot of adrenal supplements during school. So it got
That's perfect. We need that during school, especially when you have little ones.
We need
it adds a whole entire.
We need it at all stages of life. Good old adrenal support.
Very much. So the redness indicates the inflammation, so just overworking too. Sometimes the adrenals can get stuck, which is when they are super white. Mm-hmm. So that would just be giving your adrenals, like increasing your movement. A lot of times when people have the whites and it's super white, because it's already pretty white on most people, but when it's like a pale, no color, very, very grayish tone, then increase your activity level. Actually use up some of your reserves and go through some of those. And then your actual eyes are your liver. So the whites of your eyes are your liver. And they should be like the traditional color, but if they're more on the blue tone, then that's the underactive liver. Your liver's just not functioning quite the way it should, whether it's because you have a fatty liver or you've abused it in the past and now it's struggling to be able to support your body and detox what it should. If you start noticing like the yellow and the green, which we tend to not see it quite as much, but you can see the yellow in the eyes in somebody who's like extremely jaundice or is in liver failure. A lot of times you can see it in there. That would be more of like the sluggish liver, so the buildup of toxins. The red lines or dry eyes are a sign of just overwork. So same with the adrenals. You just worked them too much, whether it was you went out all night drinking or you were up all night studying, whatever it may be. You just overworked them. Most of the time that'll go away after you rest and recover. And then blurred vision is also a sign of overworked. So when you've been staring at something for a very, very long period of time and you're trying to focus and then all of a sudden you kind of lose your focus and you can't concentrate, that's your liver telling you you need to slow down and give me a break.
Mm-hmm. All right. We've done a lot. We've done like a crash course in 10 minutes. Walk me through how somebody would apply this to their health story.
So the main way a lot of people apply it is they look at the areas that they notice. And we all have areas of our skin that we notice more frequently than not. So like, for example, for me, when I was pregnant, I can't remember the technical name, but you get the brown patchiness that you can get when you're pregnant, that skin change tone. So sure. I went and I actually started getting it right through here. Mm-hmm. And so I went and I looked at the face map to kind of see what organ it would be kind of more associated with. And I gave that organ support. Once I gave that organ the right support based on what organ it was, then that started to clear up. And I do a lot with muscle testing. So I do applied kinesiology muscle testing. So I actually muscle tested myself with the supplements to see which one would work best for me in particular. And then I did the same thing with my skincare, because when I got pregnant, my skincare changed because all of my hormones changed and my body was like, yep, nope, your normal skincare, it's not working for you anymore. I'm sorry. So I had to change. And then I actually found that rosemary essential oils is a really good solution for some of that too. And I've had other clients who have reached for rosemary and started using it, and it's been really great for their skin. I like to mix that with Dermacolonizer by Systemic Formulas, and that will solve 80% of my skin-related things that I have going on, or my clients do.
Rosemary and Dermacolonizer.
Yes.
That's
or
your
lavender.
magic pill. Magic bullet for skin stuff. Do you apply it like So say it's eczema, do you apply it topically right over the area?
Yep. Eczema, I would do more of a lavender because lavender is a little bit more calming for the eczema. But I love dermacolonizer. I use it, and I have my clients keep it on hand for them. Or the Revenator. Is it Revenator? Renovator. I always say it wrong.
I always have both of them on because I use them for my baby's bums too.
Yes.
Instead of putting your powder on there, I put the oils on there.
Yeah, my daughter had a couple times where she had diaper rash, and I put the dermacolonizer on, and it was gone within 2 hours.
Yeah, that's mine too.
I'm like, yep, this is the reason why this product was created the way it was.
Yes, it was.
I've had cystic acne with the dermacolonizer, really good success with that too. You have to balance out the hormones and everything else, but topically to help the skin actually be able to heal from the outside, I use a lot of dermacolonizer. But we just look at the areas. So if you are prone to having breakouts in certain areas, then you can pull up a Chinese face map and you can go, oh, this area is associated with my liver. So my liver is not working the way it should. What have I been doing in my diet or in my lifestyle that would be impacting my liver more? Or is my liver just so stressed out and so fed up and done that I need a supplement?
Yeah.
Because that happens quite a bit too.
Yeah. Okay. Walk us through, just as we finish up here, one of your favorite journeys from a client.
So I have a couple. Probably, so we're talking about skin health, so I'll go into my favorite one about skin. So I had a client come in. She thought what I did was super weird. She was like, you push on my arm and you can tell me what's going on. Okay, whatever. Like, I'm kind of done having this like full body rash that nobody knows what it is. I've gone to my primary care doctor 6 times in the past 3 months because it keeps spreading. It started on the back of her neck and it spread down her arms and then it started spreading to her legs. And she's like, I'm just done with it. She's like, I went to the dermatologist before I saw you, and he looked at it and he said, I have no idea what it is. Let me take a biopsy. I'll get back to you in a month.
Oh, geez.
And she's like, okay. So we did muscle testing, the nutrition response testing, and we found out that it was actually for her, it was fungus and bacteria. So that we found the right program for her. We started her on it. And within a month, the spots lessened and a lot of them started going away. By the time the doctor called her back was a month and a half later and was like, oh yeah, you can come into the office, we'll talk about your results. So she goes in and he says, yeah, I have no idea what it is.
Oh, jeez.
I'll get you started on a steroid though. And she's like, well, it's going away. You see this? And he's like, oh, it is. What are you doing? And she's like, I'm taking these supplements. He's like, oh, okay. Well, I guess if it's working, because I don't know what it is. Within 2 months, she was actually able to have, the spots were almost gone. She just had because they almost looked like scales. They were very, very scaly. So she just had a little bit of scales left. But the rest of it, like the redness was gone. People stopped staring at her when she was working. She was like, it was so nice to be able to wear my tank top outside when I was working and not have people stare at me like I have a disease or something. So that's been my
part
favorite.
With the skin is it's outward and so people can see it. Whereas, and even I've given this reference a lot, just because, they fit the Barbie mold doesn't mean that they're healthy on the inside. And they might look like they need to lose 50 pounds or whatever, but they're probably even healthier than someone. So really our outward appearance doesn't say much about our inside. But when you have a skin concern, that's rough. So that's really cool that she was able to overcome that. I would be like, Abigail, where is her blood work? I want to see what her neutrophils and her lymphocytes were because that's my jam.
I know. It would have been interesting before I met. This was long before I even knew about you, but I was thinking about because what I've done in the past, because I've learned so much from you, is I'll actually do my muscle testing, but then I look over their lab reports and They
2 in
match
combination
up.
are great.
They match up so beautifully. I'm like, see? We can see it both ways.
Good. Because then you can do you do muscle testing virtually?
Yes.
That takes skill. So you're a very trained muscle tester. Not everybody is as trained as that. Okay. Where can people learn more about you?
So I would love for people to come join me on my Facebook group. I do a lot of one-on-one workshops and educational in there. And that's just the easiest way to get in contact with me. And you can find it by searching Holistic Collective with Abigail Rose on Facebook. And that would be the best place to find me.
Okay. Cool. All right, guys, you heard it. Go to the Facebook group, Holistic Collective with Abigail Rose. Thanks, Abigail.
Thank you.
The health coaching certification program that I recommend is Functional Diagnostic Nutrition, or FDN. You can get started anytime. So grab the $250 off code from the show notes and go to fdntraining.com/Dr. Kylie and get started. Don't wait any longer. Make 2023 your year. Do this for you, your family, and for those you're about to help. fdntraining.com/Dr. Kylie. Ready to have all of your blood work compiled in one location where you can easily read it all together? Well, go grab my book, Why Are My Labs Normal, on Amazon. Grab it, learn how to read your own labs, and take the power back in your hands, because your normal blood work is loaded with answers. You just got to have the right person reading it, and the right person can be you. Go grab it on Amazon, Why Are My Labs Normal by Dr. Kylie Burton. Leave a review, and we'll see you on the next episode.